Hello Gemini, welcome to my channel. This is going to be your January 2023 reading for Sun, Moon and Rising. We will start off with the sound bowl just to cleanse the space and tune in, and I will have an extended reading. So if this resonates with you, you can go to the description box below, click on the extended link, and I'm operating an honesty box feature. So below that's a PayPal link. All right, I will be doing a classic Celtic cross today, and we'll see what energies are serving you at this time. But before we begin, if you would like to take a breath in and exhale. All right, Gemini, let us see what January has in store for you. We're going to be using the Gilded deck because it's a nice traditional deck. And please be mindful that energies are non-gender specific. Take what resonates, leave the rest behind. And if you do like this video, please do like it, subscribe, comment, share. It really does help my channel. Okay. Gemini, January 2023. Happy New Year. Okay. Oh, that wanted to be there. Okay. General energy theme of the month for you is the Seven of Wands. The challenge for the month is the Fool. Areas of your conscious thoughts and approaches is the Page of Cups. In the subconscious, we have the Ace of Pentacles. In the immediate past, we have the Chariot. In the immediate future, we have the Hermit. Your attitude in January is a Nine of Wands. Your environment and the people around you, Seven of Swords. Hopes and fears, King of Pentacles. And the outcome for the month is the Seven of Cups. Gemini, there seems to be, bottom of the deck we have Judgment. Yeah. I mean, there seems to be a sort of a deep down energy of something new coming into your energy space, a new beginning with the Fool card and the Ace of Pentacles in the challenge position and also in your subconscious thoughts. But it feels like there's sort of unfinished business that needs to take place first before you can actually bring that into your reality. With the Chariot being in your immediate past, it means that you've been quite successful at powering forward and triumphing and movement forwards, bearing in mind that it doesn't really matter if you take the wrong turn. It's like you're allowing the path to unfold before you. But there is quite a lot of defensive energy surrounding your reading for January, and we're going to clarify it with this mini deck here before I go in deeper. I like the fact that your hopes is the King of Pentacles, which is trying to think about long-term stability, long-term security, kind of getting down and dirty and just getting the work done. It's a very Capricorn energy, and you're on the Capricorn season at the moment. But there's also the fear that you might not be able to, because it's in your hopes and fear position, you may not be able to, it's like worrying too much about it, perhaps. And it's a very sort of tired energy with this Nine of Wands and the Hermit. So in your immediate future, you're sort of really doing some soul searching and really taking stock about which direction you're going in. But your attitude is the Nine of Wands. So it could be that things are feeling very sort of tiresome at the moment, very kind of, you're at the end of your tether a little bit. And I'm interested in the Seven of Swords, which can be a bit of a lying, cheating, stealing, deceitful kind of sneaky energy in your environment. So I'll be interested to see how that pans out for you. Okay. Okay, under the Seven of Wands, we have the Page of Pentacles. Under the Fool, we have the Emperor. Under the Page of Cups, we have the Six of Swords. I really love this energy. Ace of Pentacles, we have the Moon. The Chariot, we have the King of Pentacles. So we've got the King of Pentacles coming up twice. Hermit, we have the Five of Wands. Under the Nine of Wands, we have the Three of Wands. Under the Seven of Swords, we have the Two of Pentacles. Under the King of Pentacles, we have the King of Cups. And under the Seven of Cups, we have the Lovers. So given that the bottom card of the deck was the Judgment card, meaning that there is a decision that needs to be made, a judgment call that needs to be made. And then you end the month off on that Seven of Cups, having many options available to you, but then clarified with that Lovers card over here, means that there is a choice that needs to be made. But I feel like you are unable to, in January, actually fulfill the next step. I think there's things coming, there's a lot of barriers and a lot of challenges for the month of January for you. So where you feel like you want to kind of get going, things are kind of stopping in your tracks, okay? We've got in your current energy the Seven of Wands with the Page of Pentacles. So this is quite a defensive kind of energy. It's you sort of standing up for what you believe in. You're standing up for yourself. You able to justify yourself. You're protecting what is yours, particularly if you had a situation where perhaps you've had some good news that's relating to kind of work, business, money or property, or even your child, if you have children. You are feeling very protective at this time, and I feel like you're stepping up to that. You're stepping up to it where perhaps in the past you maybe allowed people to say whatever they want and let it slide. I feel like you really are on, I wouldn't say the defensive, but you are really standing up to yourself now. You're actually standing in your power quite a bit. So I really, really like that, because I do feel like there's something good that's coming in for you. Page of Pentacles is like message energy of things that are good, things that are fruitful, things that are you can see in the real world, material world. And it's really, it's just really nice, you know, and it belongs to you. It is yours. But it may be that, you know, people want a piece of it as well. So I feel like you may be forced in a way to sort of stand up for what actually belongs to you, ownership of it, and I think that'll be very, very helpful. But the challenge this month, even though you haven't, that seems to be quite like it keeps happening throughout the month, or you're having to kind of stand up for yourself again, be self-empowered, which is a good energy. The challenge here is the Fool with the Emperor. Okay, now the Fool with the Emperor is a really wonderful energy, because it's like a new beginning, a new venture, that new leap of faith, a paradigm shift that you've not been in before, a new cycle in your life. Particularly like if we are in that January feeling of like starting the new year with new ideas, new ambitions and new concepts. And with the Emperor over there, it's like trying to, wanting to sort of plan ahead for the future, not just like see where things go. It's like, well, I want to take charge of this. I want to plan the things that I need to do in order so that I can be strategic for my long-term sense of security, my long-term sense of happiness for myself and my family. But that's in your challenge position. So I feel like every time that you're trying to sort of, it feels like you're quite distracted. You're having to kind of just deal with the here and now, but you've got this energy of like, yeah, but let's bring something new in, let's bring something new in. You're like, no, I need to close something off first. Now it's worth bearing in mind that we are in Mercury retrograde, so it is a time of blasts from the past and things from the past coming back into our environment, which we have to now readdress. It is also a time of communications going a little bit all over the place. So particularly if you're having to kind of communicate and send correspondences to things to do with work, it could be tricky. There could be information, things lost in translation. So I think that that's also a time of unfinished business. So you've got this energy surrounding you because it's also turning up in your subconscious, the sort of the ethereal world, the intuitive hits that you're getting, that we've got this brand new beginning that's in your energy field, but you can't quite grab hold of it just yet, okay? So the challenge is you want to jump forward, but you're having to still deal with unfinished business. In the area of your conscious thoughts, you've got the Page of Cups and Six of Swords. And I really, really like this because it does feel like either this could be children related, or it's just lovely message that comes in, lovely information. It could be someone who's, if you are looking for love, someone who has got their eye on you and who extends their love towards you. It could also be an apology that you've been waiting on, particularly if you've had to sort of constantly stand up for yourself. And what that does for you is it just gives you a bit of sense of peace in the mind space. It feels like you're able to now move on and start to close things off. So again, these are the kinds of things that are tripping you up in a way, even though they makes you feel like they're tripping you up and being distracted. But actually these things need to happen. These things to sort of, the dust needs to sort of settle so that you can close things off, so that you can bring this new energy into your life, okay? The nice thing about it is that you have the time and the space to do it now, okay? So even though you were charging forward in your immediate past with this Chariot and the King of Pentacles, and because it's come up twice now, the King of Pentacles, first in your immediate past and then in your hopes and fears, it's like you were doing everything you could to charge forward, maybe with a work idea, maybe with a business idea, or maybe with a home idea, because it's a very kind of practical card. You were charging forward with that, thinking about the long term, thinking about, okay, well, how am I going to invest more into my future? And now you've got these little things that seem to be tripping you up and stopping you from forward progression. But it's a good thing because you need to close it off, create that clean slate for yourself. So whereas for some people, January starts the year, it may in fact actually be February for you, okay? The other thing I feel as well is that you're it's really self-empowered energy. And it's a kind of thing of, because I'm being drawn here to the Nine of Wands, which is under your attitude. It's Nine of Wands with the Three of Wands. It's like you are so over something. You're so over it. You're like, it could be work related. Yeah, my head is tingling. So it's probably work related. There's something that you're so over that you've been waiting. You've put the work in. You're just exhausted at the moment. You feel like you can't get any further and you're like, oh, I'm just so over it right now that I don't care. So what happens sometimes in life is that we'll take a lot of shit, a lot of BS. However, it reaches that point where I've had enough. I've had enough. So even if you were dealing with correspondences to do with I don't know, custody of children. I don't know why that's popping up. Maybe because of these couple of these pages turning up. Anything to do with the home, sometimes people can take advantage of you to the degree where you've finally reached that point of like, no, I've had enough. And I feel like that's your attitude over the month, where I've had enough. This has taken so long to do. I've done everything I need to do about it. And so when that happens, that's when you start stepping into your power, because you have to stand up. Because usually we like to live life by being kind, benevolent, compassionate, and want to help people, want to help yourself and everything. That's a general kind of feeling we try and embrace in life. And in that energy, a lot of people can take advantage, but it gets to a point. It gets to it feels like someone around you has kind of overstepped the boundary here. And part of it is because, it might seem quite petty, but for you, it's a long time coming. So now you've reached the end of your tail and you're like, no, this is what I want. I'm tired of this situation. I want to move forward. This has gone on way too long, okay? So it could be to do with ending some sort of major working project or something in the home environment, because that King of Pentacles is very strong. It's something that involves your sense of security as it relates to money, home, and the money that comes in through work, okay? So your attitude is really kind of like, don't mess with me this month. I've got to clean up some stuff because I'm so close to the end of a cycle here, and I can feel something new on my horizon, but I need to bring it into my reality, okay? With that Ace of Pentacles and the Moon, that's what the that new beginning feels like for you. You can't quite put your finger on it because the Moon casts quite dark shadows over it. It could even be a situation where someone mentioned or dangled an idea, a new beginning that related to something that you could see the return in, the long-term return in terms of money or even love. But it's been quite emotional. It's been quite hazy. It's even sort of secretive. And you can't bring it in because you are basically so shattered, so tired of having to finish something off first. It's like you don't have time for that right now, but you can kind of feel it buzzing in your energy field. Now, it could be, you see, overall, the kind of energy I'm feeling from this spread is a kind of, I want to say pissed off energy. It's like you kind of had enough, and your environment, it could be people who were sort of taking advantage of you, kind of being a little bit sneaky, perhaps trying to get you to either taking credit for your work or trying to take more than they deserve. And it's been a great big juggling act. It's like it's taken all your time. It's almost like the sense I'm getting is having to unpick and undo the stuff, the work that other people have done because they haven't done it correctly, and now it all falls on your lap. And so it's been quite a big juggling act to kind of manage that. And it feels like you can't be, it's not been brought completely to light yet, but it's every time you feel like you've got a breather, then something else comes in. So with this juggling act with the Two of Pentacles, it could obviously be affecting your money and how you handle your money. But it's for me, it's feeling like you kind of don't know where you stand with certain people or one person in particular. And it feels work related or anything to do with children. It's one of those two things that I'm picking up on. And so you don't quite have all the information, which for you, Gemini, is very infuriating because you usually are great researchers. You have all the information, you know how to get the information, and you pick up a lot, all right, intuitively too. But this feels to me like a situation where you don't have all the facts, and that's grating at you at this time. But perhaps it's a spiritual lesson. Perhaps it's a way to learn how to work with the heart space and just try and go with the flow, because it feels like that chariot, that forward drive that you had starting the month off, or even in December, where you're like, January, I'm going to do this, and this, and then you sort of stopped in your tracks a bit. Maybe it could be the universe asking you to try a different way, try an approach that perhaps is a little bit more flowy and more let's see how things pan out, rather than planning it in advance. Okay, now in the immediate future, you've got the Hermit with the Five of Wands over here. Okay, so it could be the situation if there's people sort of taking advantage of you in the workplace. It's something you're having to deal with, and you're trying to kind of make peace of it within yourself. You're trying to make sense of it within yourself, even though you don't understand it. It's a very sort of competitive energy, but you're also recognizing that you need to, that you're wanting to make some clear choices in your life about your direction forward. That's why January is such a month of kind of, it's almost preparation to the new. It's not quite the new yet. And so you're going within, you're doing that that hermit energy, that kind of introspection, that soul searching of what is it that actually brings me joy and peace comparative to the internal conflict I feel, because the internal conflict is showing up in your physical environment. I do feel like you are going to reach an element of peace and then be in a position to see the options laid out in front of you by the end of the month. But in the process of January, it is basically a time of kind of allowing yourself to sort of go within, even if you shut yourself away from family and friends or even work colleagues for a couple of days, just to kind of have that space. I feel like you really need that space just to kind of calm that storm down within. And with that Six of Pentacles in in your approach to things, it's showing me that you are sort of taking responsibility. So it's a real kind of, I want to say static energy. It's like stop month for you. In your immediate, your hopes and fears, we have the King of Pentacles with the King of Cups. And this is what tells me how you are still on that mindset of whatever I'm doing in life, that the new direction I'm going in life for this year, my projections for this year. When you had the Chariot and you're like, I'm doing this because I want my long-term security. I want to maybe start this own business for myself because I want to be self-sufficient. I want to make sure that what I put out, I get out. That approach, be good and well, you still want that. But the fear is that you might not be able to have the wherewithal to get that quick enough, okay? With the King of Cups, clarifying it, it's basically telling me that it's important to sort of go more within a slightly different approach, which is what I was talking before about, Spirit saying, well, maybe you should try a slightly different avenue. And the avenue with the King of Cups would be to look at areas where you can find more emotional peace and stability within yourself first before you break out into the world. And what I mean by that is sort of kind of like harnessing those energies of where people might be coming at you, particularly if they're taking advantage of you or you're having to answer to people. It's going to be more beneficial for you to find coping mechanisms in your emotional body of how to deal with that, however that can work for you. Maybe it's journaling, maybe it's writing a letter and burning it, maybe it's speaking openly to the person and reaching like an open communication about it. But that might be a slightly better way around it, okay? By the end of the month, you've got options available to you, and it's now choice time. It's now judgment time, okay? So you can go any which way. You've got 7 cups available to you. Each represents a different thing. Doesn't mean specifically that you're going to have 7 choices, but you have options now. And this is now setting you up for February when that Ace of Pentacles and that Fool can come on in, all right? So you're desperately trying to bring in this new energy, but first you need to address the unfinished business. And the unfinished business are the people around you that perhaps are taking advantage of you. It's you sort of having to stand up in your power, because that might be a stronger, empowering position to take this leap of faith in this new beginning. But whatever you choose, the best idea is to choose passion, okay? Because the Lover's card is all about passion. It's getting the excitement and the joy back in life, okay? And Lovers is also a choice card, traditionally speaking, because sometimes it's like 3 people in a situation. So it's like, which one do you choose? Now, it does have an angel above, which I really love because there's an angel here too, okay? So it does feel to me that you have more options available to you than you realize. But for the bulk of January, your focus isn't there. You've got to kind of clean up shop, get your headspace sorted, do that any introspection, and then decide what you want in terms of your fulfillment and your joy and your happiness, okay? And maybe it's a case of looking at the people in your environment, because I do see a lot of kind of some relationship issues over here. Maybe looking at the people in your environment and start to question, does this person have my back? Do they really support me unconditionally? Because that's what love is, unconditional, okay? When you start to put in expectations and loads of conditions, it can become a little bit toxic, because then that can develop, I'm not saying it is, but it can develop into a sort of codependency energy, and then it becomes a little bit sticky, okay, in nature. So I do feel like you might be reassessing your Christmas list and everyone you send cards to, if you celebrate Christmas, of course, and start to kind of work out, well, who's always had my back? Who are the people around me that I aspire to be around? So I feel like you're going to start looking at the people that can also have a really good influence on you as well. People who are joyful, people happy, people positive, people who get things done. And I feel like that is you're going to start to think about those sorts of ideas, okay? Because there are, it's just, you don't want to reach the stage again of having to kind of like, nobody wants to have to just sort of stand in the power and kind of say, this is who I am, this is what I want, and I'm going to do it unapologetically, okay? Nobody wants to have to say that, you know? I mean, some people do say that all the time, and maybe it's just a bit of an ego trip, but I feel like you're being pushed in that corner this month. And those are the things that really need to be kind of settled and illuminated and then brought to light. And then you can find peace within you. And then it's just finding your own boundaries this month. It really is. So we'll see, you know, what choice you make. And I feel like there's loads of options. It definitely does have an aspect to do with your money, and it definitely has something affecting your home environment. But because there's elements of work here and the people surrounding it work, that obviously determines your money sometimes too. Okay, and even if you're retired, it's that work would be like your projects, or even if you're a student, that work would be the kind of studies that you have. We're going to get an oracle card just to close off this reading before we move on to the extended. So what does Gemini need to know for January for their highest good, please? Just one card, please. Thank you. And on the floor. Hang on. Right. Answer the call. What is your soul calling you to do? Okay, so it may feel as well that maybe that's what happens when you have this introspection, this kind of hermit energy here, where you kind of really are going within, you kind of going, oh, because there's something that you're sensing, you know that there's a new beginning on your horizon, you know the energy surrounding you at this time, and you can't quite put your finger on it, but that's why the hermit energy is so important, to kind of really kind of go, okay, once I've closed off the unfinished business, stood in my power, presented the boundaries to people, maybe did a cull and eliminate the things that are stressing me out, all of those sorts of stuff, and create that clean slate so that I'm preparing the space for the new beginnings to come in. You're going to have that reflective thing of like, with the Seven of Cups, those options being made available to you. It's like, well, what am I really being pulled to do here? What am I really... And it may not be the physical wealth. It may not be the big house. It may not be the successful job. It's something, but you've got to kind of figure out for yourself. It may be going traveling for 6 months, you know. It may be deciding to move house and surround yourself in a different culture, you know. But there's something that's, that basically what Spirit is saying here with this card is, at a deep, deep level, you know where you're being drawn to. But unfortunately, over the month of January, you are going to be kind of distracted by the itty-bitty day-to-day stuff, okay? By the end of the month, you are going to start to kind of slow that down, make peace with all of that, and find your groove again. And then you may be able to sort of meditate on what you really are being pulled to do. Intuitively, it's like you can't make sense of it. You can't make logic sense of it, which is what that King of Pentacles energy is all about, which is why maybe they're bringing up the King of Cups, going, well, what does your heart tell you to do? What does your heart tell you to do? So interesting reading, Gemini. It's a bit taxing this year for you, but it's basically just creating the space for the new paradigm. So I'm going to be moving on to the extended, and in the extended reading, I'm going to look at this full energy, this new beginning that's in your energy field, and find out what's going on with that. And I'm also interested to know for any advice from Spirit with regards to this, these choices that you have available to you by the end of the month. So I'll be looking at those two areas. If you are interested in that, go to the description box below for the link, and below that's a PayPal link. And I wish you all the best for January, and I'll see you next time. Take care.